now we're looking at an anterior view with the hand slightly pronated so that we can see the muscles. I'll start up at the top here. This muscle right here is the deltoid muscle. In here, these are muscles of the scapula. And we've got the supraspinatus up here. We also have the subscapularis muscle here. This muscle right here is the anterior portion of the teres major muscle. And this right here is the cut edge of the latissimus dorsi muscle. This muscle right here is the coracobrachialis muscle. This muscle right here is the biceps brachii. Okay. Underneath the biceps brachii, we would be able to see the brachialis muscle right here. Okay. So the posterior aspect, we would be able to see our supraspinatus right here. This would be the spine of the scapula right here, leading to the acromion process. This muscle right here would be the infraspinatus muscle. If I were to remove the deltoid muscle right here, we could see the infraspinatus. This muscle right here is separate from the infraspinatus, although it functions the same way as the infraspinatus. This right here is the teres minor. Okay, the teres major would be this muscle right here. Okay. On the back of the arm, we would be able to see the triceps, and the triceps has three heads. This head right here is the long head of the tricep. Then we've got the medial head of the tricep, and finally the lateral head. Hello, this is Dr. Loach from HumanBodyHelp.com, and today I'll be running through the muscles of the forearm. I'll be starting with the anterior forearm, and we can see the anterior forearm muscles here. The first muscle I'll point to would be the pronator teres muscle right here. And then the next muscle is going to be the flexor carpi radialis muscle. Then we've got the palmaris longus muscle, which you could see is cut right here. It would lead into the palm of the hand in the palmar aponeurosis. This muscle right here would be the flexor carpi ulnaris muscle, and you can see a little bit of the pisiform bone right here because that's one of the bones that it would attach to distally. Deep to these, we would have this muscle under here, which would be the flexor digitorum superficialis. And if I were to remove this plate right here, deep to that we'd be able to see flexor digitorum profundus. Okay. This muscle right here is going to be flexor pollicis longus. If I were to go to the posterior aspect of the forearm, we would see these muscles here. This muscle right here is going to be the brachioradialis muscle. It's going to go all the way down to the radial styloid process here. This muscle right here is going to be extensor carpi radialis longus. Extensor carpi radialis longus. And then this one right here would be extensor carpi radialis brevis. This muscle right here would be extensor digitorum, and you can follow that muscle down to its tendons that go to the digits. This muscle right here is going to be extensor digiti minimi. And then this muscle right here is going to be extensor carpi ulnaris. It's on the ulnar side. Extensor carpi ulnaris. And then finally we have this little muscle right here. This is the Anconeus muscle. Okay, Anconeus. Now if I were to come back this way and remove these muscles, remember these are brachioradialis, extensor carpi radialis longus, and extensor carpi radialis brevis, we would be able to see the supinator underneath here. And then the fibers of the pronator teres muscle crossing that. Coming back to the posterior forearm, we've got these muscles here. Okay. This is going to be abductor pollicis longus. This is going to be extensor pollicis brevis, and then this one would be extensor pollicis longus. Okay? So again, abductor, abductor, pollicis longus, extensor pollicis brevis, and then extensor pollicis longus.
Maxillary artery, subscapular artery, coracodorsal artery, circumflex scapular artery, posterior circumflex femoral artery, ये ब्रेकियल आर्टरी है. इसकी पहली ब्रांच प्रोफंडा ब्रेका आर्टरी, ये मिडल कोलेटरल आर्टरी, ये रेडियल कोलेटरल आर्टरी. अभी ये ब्रेकियल आर्टरी की ये सुपीरियर अल्नर कोलेटरल आर्टरी यहाँ पे इन्फीरियर देगी नज़र नहीं आ रही. ये आके यहाँ पे 2 में डिवाइड हो जाएगी. ये हो गई रेडियल आर्टरी, ये अल्नर आर्टरी. अल्नर आर्टरी की ब्रांच है एंटीरियर इंट्रोशाई आर्टरी. अब ये दोनों आगे जाके फिर ब्रांचेस देंगी. ये है इसकी डोर्सल ब्रांच ऑफ द रेडियल आर्टरी और ये इसकी पाल्मर ब्रांच है सुपरफिशियल. इसी तरह अल्नर की भी 2 ब्रांचेस हैं. ये डोर्सल ब्रांच है और ये इसकी सुपरफिशियल ब्रांच है. डोर्सम की तरफ जाएगी एनाटॉमिकल स्नब बॉक्स से पास करके फर्स्ट डोर्सल इंट्रोशाई को प्रेस करके दोबारा हैंड में आ जाएगी और डीप पाल्मर आर्च बनाएगी. यहाँ पे ये रेडियल आर्टरी से 2 ब्रांचेस निकलेंगी. ये है डोर्सैलिस पॉलिसिस आर्टरी और ये है डोर्सैलिस इंडिसिस आर्टरी, सिर्फ लेटरल साइड ऑफ द फिंगर की तरफ. अभी जब ये सुपरफिशियल ब्रांच दोनों की रेडियल और अल्नर की आएगी तो ये सुपरफिशियल पाल्मर आर्च बन जाएगी और यहाँ से रेडियल दोबारा पाल्मर साइड पे 2 ब्रांचेस देगी. एक इसको थंब को देगी, उसका नाम है प्रिंसिपल पॉलिसिस आर्टरी और ये रेडियलिस इंडिसिस आर्टरी. अभी यहाँ से जो ब्रांचेस निकलेंगी ये हैं डिजिटल आर्टरीज और ये साइड डिजिटल आर्टरीज. अभी ये जो है ये पोस्टीरियर इंट्रोशाई आर्टरी और यहाँ से अल्नर आर्टरी की ये ब्रांच आ रही है एनास्टोमोस बन रहा है. यहाँ से रेडियल की जो डोर्सल ब्रांच है वो आर्च बना रही है, डोर्सल कार्पल आर्च. यहाँ से ब्रांचेस निकलेंगी मेटाकार्पल ब्रांचेस और वो बन जाएगी डिजिटल ब्रांचेस.
Plexus is going to be up here, and the brachial plexus you can see is going to wrap around the axillary artery. Let's look at some of the branches here. This branch right here would be the lower subscapular nerve because it's going to the lower portion of the subscapularis muscle. Okay. This nerve over here, this nerve is the musculocutaneous nerve. Musculocutaneous nerve is going to innervate the brachialis, the biceps brachii, and even coracobrachialis. Okay. And you can see some of that branch here, musculocutaneous. This nerve right here, we can follow it down through the arm, past the elbow into the forearm. Okay, that nerve is going to be the median nerve. Okay. That median nerve is going to run right down the middle of the anterior forearm and through a structure known as the carpal tunnel. So when someone has carpal tunnel syndrome, it's the median nerve that gets compressed here at the carpal tunnel. Going back up here, this nerve going down here past the medial epicondyle of the humerus where all these forearm flexor muscles attach, going behind that, going down into the ulnar side of the forearm, that's the ulnar nerve. Also up in this area, we see this nerve right here. This nerve is the axillary nerve. Now the axillary nerve is going to pass through a structure known as the quadrangular space, and that quadrangular space is right in here. It's bordered by the long head of the triceps, the neck of the humerus, and then the teres major and teres minor muscle, which you wouldn't be able to see from this view. Teres minor would be on the other side. This muscle you see right here is the subscapularis muscle. Okay. Now, this axillary nerve is going to emerge on this side after it passes through the quadrangular space, and you can see where it would innervate the deltoid muscle. The deltoid muscle would sit here. Okay. Axillary nerve also innervates teres minor as well. Now the radial nerve is going to go behind the humerus, underneath the triceps muscles, and innervate the triceps. This would be a branch of radial nerve coming out here, innervating brachioradialis and extensor carpi radialis longus, and some of these other muscles down in here that have been removed. Okay. But the radial nerve, we can also see a branch of it here called the posterior interosseous nerve, but we can also see the radial nerve right here as it runs down the radial